Now, if I recall Labor Day when I was a kid, I'm talking about mid-'70s, I think the Phillies and the Pirates used to play a doubleheader that started like at 10 or 10:30 in the morning. And I remember this because I used to go to my grandmother's, and that was a big thing. Go to my grandmother's and stay over the Labor Day vacation weekend, and then, of course, come home and start, I don't know, elementary school or whatever. But I think the Phillies and the Pirates used to play a doubleheader and start at 10 in the morning. And I used to think, wow, that is such a cool thing. Of course, for people growing up on the West Coast, that's been normal for your entire life, but for us on the East Coast, that was cool. Of course, nowadays, teams don't play doubleheaders, especially on holidays. God forbid if the gate went down and you couldn't afford the outrageous salaries you're paying everybody. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, and this, of course, is going to be your Monday video report. I hope the Labor Day weekend has been a good one for you and a profitable one as well. Here on the video report, 72-39 roll with complimentary plays. Took a split yesterday, lost last night with the Cardinals, cashed in earlier in the day with the Red Sox on the run line. Going to take a look at the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Brewers, Marlins games today, plus give you an in-depth preview of that little game between Ohio State and Virginia Tech and Blacksburg this evening. Hey, before I move on to your Monday card, got to go back to the Sunday card. The lone football game, Purdue and Marshall. I don't know. Listen, if you had Marshall yesterday, the gambling gods were smiling on you. If you had Purdue yesterday, you were cursed. That's all it was. What can you say about the way that game started and the way the game ended? The cornerback for Marshall, last name is Lang. Not only did he have 17 tackles, but if you missed the beginning of the game, first play from the line of scrimmage, Austin Appleby, the quarterback for Purdue, picked off, and it's a pick six, 30-yard touchdown return for the cornerback Lang, okay? Now, Purdue in the fourth quarter, late in the game, driving, okay? Down by 3 points, going for the potential game-winning touchdown, going for perhaps a game-tying, overtime forcing field goal. And what happens? This guy picks off another pass by Appleby and returns it 55 yards for a touchdown in the score. Game, set, match. That was your final margin of victory. Suddenly, you're sitting there with Purdue. You're sitting happy with 7.5 points. Or you're sitting there with Marshall going, Jesus, I can't believe my team scored 40 points and I can't win and cover this damn game. And you were given the gift from the gods. But you have to really go back a little earlier in the fourth quarter. Because this was a Purdue team that, after going 4-20 the past two seasons, spent the entire offseason, all their prep time, prepping for this game, getting off to a new start, kickstarting the program, focusing and putting all their eggs on this one basket and beating Marshall. And it was a team that took chances, overcame that horrific start yesterday, was up at one point 28-27 in the fourth quarter, and then suddenly got conservative. 3 straight runs netted them like 3 yards, and you know what happens? The field goal kicker goes for a field goal. It clanks off the post. It's a 28-27 game, and it comes back to haunt them in the end. But yesterday, Jeff Benson, of course, had a big play on Purdue. I think it was 89 winner number 9 in a row, 12 out of 13, 17 out of 21 perhaps. What a way to lose. But it's another one of those games that you just have to shrug. Listen, I had one of those on Saturday myself with Auburn. I'm up 31-10 with 10 minutes to play, and this Auburn defense suddenly allows 2 touchdowns in a 3.5-minute span with 6 minutes to go in the game. What are you going to do? Now, when the breaks are going against you, I'm the first to say to you and remind you all the time that ultimately, over the long haul, I think the breaks more often than not go in your direction. But, of course, when they're going against you, you don't want to hear that crap. And I understand. But it's how it goes. And that's why this thing we call gambling, as I've always said, there are no guarantees in gambling. Look it up in the dictionary. You will not find the words guaranteed in gambling on the same page of any dictionary I know. Okay, let's get to who's hot here today. And that, of course, would be Shawn Michaels, the winningest football handicapper at the site here over the past 5+ seasons. NFL and college football combined has made $10 bettors a little over $32,000 so far. He's had 2 plays so far this season. They have both been $100 max wager releases. Cashed in with Utah over Michigan Thursday night, you got it for half price. Cashed in with Arkansas on a rout of UTEP on Saturday, you got it for half price. When I saw he came out with his 3rd straight $100 play, a $100 play, by the way, in college football that he is 22-6 with over the past 2+ seasons on Virginia Tech, Ohio State, You betcha, guys. It's the half price play of the day simply by using coupon code Sean, S-E-A-N. Same 100-dime plays. He's on a 59-31 run in the NFL over the past 5 years after cashing in with the Patriots in that little game against Seattle back in February. Again, half price play of the day. The coupon code is Sean. And how about Steve Buden's New York Crew today, the 8th ever 100-dime baseball release. And they have all come in the past 2 weeks. And they've gone 6-1 with those plays. And you've gotten every single one of them for at least half price off, including yesterday's 100-dime winner on the Astros on the run line, getting the job done 8-5 over Minnesota, including Friday's winner with Colorado 2-1 over San Francisco. Today, 8th ever 100-dime baseball release. I figured, why not? Make it the half price play of the day, part number 2. That's right. It's also half price. NYC100. NYC100 is your coupon code. They have had 11 plays over the past 2 weeks. They've had 8 winners. $10 bettors with those 8 winners have won $4,150. It's half price, NYC100. You've got another winning baseball total, we hope, from Trace Adams, who's delivered 777 total winners for you the past 2 days, and another football total winner from Anthony Red, who cashed in yesterday with the Marshall-Purdue game easily over by 11 points. He's got the over-under on Virginia Tech and Ohio State, and it's also a 777 play for you as well. Okay, break up the Miami Marlins because suddenly they're playing well. Gee, isn't that a little bit too late? But anyway, they took 2 out of 3 over the weekend against the Mets to open the homestand. They've won 5 of their last 6 overall. Now, granted, the Brewers have been hot too. They had won 6 straight before losing yesterday at Cincinnati, 6-3. A battle of 2 rookie pitchers. Zach Davies, who's making his second career start. His first one, he didn't last that long. Got a no decision, didn't stick around that long. At Pittsburgh last Wednesday, gave up 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings and struggled with his control with 3 walks in that span, along with 4 hits allowed. So he's making his second career start. Justin Nicolino, his 8th career start. Now, let me point out the good and the bad. On the road, he's 3-0 with a 0.87 earned run average. At home in 4 starts, he's 0-2 with a 5.01 ERA. But he's really pitched well here of late. 1.98 earned run average in his last 4 starts. And I like the way the Marlins are hitting the ball. And I just think in the battle of rookie pitchers, I'd rather have the guy who's already made 7 starts and is pitching better of late, and well, extremely well of late, than the rookie who's making his second start. So I'm going to go with the Marlins as the complimentary play too. I'm going to take the Toronto Blue Jays as a $1.30, $1.35 favorite at Boston against the Red Sox, who of course are coming off a 3-game sweep of Philadelphia at home over the weekend. Blue Jays got their offensive mojo going back again here the past 2 days as they took 2 straight from the Orioles to cap a 7-2 homestand in which they scored 15 runs in the Saturday and Sunday contests. They're 9-2 in their last 2 road trips combined. They've won 28 of their last 35 games overall. Now, Mark Burrell, their starting pitcher today, he said that after his last start, he was a little tired. So they skipped his turn, which would have been yesterday in the rotation, gave him an extra day rest to come out and face the Red Sox, which is not the worst thing in the world since he's 3-0 with a 1.74 earned run average in his last 3 starts against the Bo Sox, including one on July 1st at home when he faced off against Rick Porcello, who again is going to be his opponent today, in which he allowed 1 run in 7 innings of pitch. 7 innings worked. Now, Porcello in that particular game did not pitch well at all, gave up 7 runs in 2 innings. He has pitched better here of late. 2.79 earned run average in his last 5 starts, but just a 1-3 record because the Red Sox have given him no support in that 5-start span, just 4 runs total. So I'm going to go with the Blue Jays because, Jesus, they're the Blue Jays, and they're the better team. And they're a pretty cheap price, all things considered. Okay, going to go with Toronto there. Oh, FYI, you don't know if David Ortiz, who's really been on a hot roll for the Red Sox, is going to be in the lineup either today. So that certainly could hurt Boston as well. So Toronto and the Miami Marlins, your 2 complimentary plays. Now let's talk about that little football game. We remember what happened last year. Virginia Tech goes into the big house and wins 35-21 as an 11-point dog. Now, were there extenuating circumstances there? Because, yes, there were. Because the Buckeyes team you saw that day was not the Buckeyes team you saw take care of business in the postseason, okay? That was a team where J.T. Barrett was making just his second start and his first at home, and he certainly was not good in the game. 9 for 29 with 3 interceptions, including 1 pick six. Elliott, the running back, he was not the featured back at that point. Just had 8 carries for 32 yards. We remember how dynamite he was with those 200-yard efforts late in the season. Along the way, ran for over 1,800 yards last year. At the same time, though, you got to give Virginia Tech credit because Bud Foster's defense, they threw everything but the kitchen sink at Ohio State and bottled them up last year in that first meeting. And Michael Brewer, the quarterback, he wasn't great, but he did enough. So now we fast forward a year. Now we have, of course, the quarterback controversy, if you want to call it that, for Ohio State. Are you going to have Cordell Jones or J.T. Barrett? I've got to think Meyer's going to give J.T. Barrett the start because it's his personal chance of redemption after losing that start last year at home to the Hokies. You've got Elliott established as perhaps the best running back in college football and a sure top 3 Heisman contender before he even sets on the foot on the field today. You've got Ohio State coming off the national championship. Past 7 preseason number ones in the Associated Press poll. How have they fared? Well, only 2 have remained in the top 5 by the end of the season. In fact, in the poll's history, only 10 preseason number ones have won the national title. Quick, last preseason number 1 in the Associated Press poll to win the national title. Come on, think about it. Go back a few years. Yes, Southern Cal, 2004. Here's one of the issues that you've got to be concerned with if you're on Ohio State today. 4 players were suspended, including their top defensive player, defensive end, Joey Bosa, probably a first-round draft pick in the NFL. They also lost a couple of halfbacks to suspension, Jalen Marshall and Dontre Wilson, also wide receiver Corey Smith. Those 4 guys suspended for the first game of the season. Another wide receiver, Noah Brown, broke his leg, so he's out. So you've got 4 playmakers that are going to be absent for the Ohio State side, plus Ohio State's top defensive player. Who knows? Braxton Miller, the former quarterback, might be one of their top receiving threats here today. How strange is that? You got a Virginia Tech team that has 9 players back on offense, 9 returning starters. I think they have 8 starters back on defense, and they were one of the top defenses in the country last year. But you got a Virginia Tech team that is 18-34 against the spread with a push over the last 4 years. Lousy numbers. You got an Ohio State team that was just 1-2 against the spread as a road chalk last season. You got a 14-point number, which is extremely fair. And I got to be honest with you guys. I think this game could go either way. I could see 35-14 for Ohio State, maybe even 35-17, and see the Buckeyes get the cover. At the same time, I could see this being a lower scoring game than anticipated, and see this be Ohio State 24 and Virginia Tech 14, or Ohio State 24 and Virginia Tech 17. I can see both scenarios. Which one do I think is more likely? I keep going back to that Alabama-Wisconsin game, and I see why Alabama just took the Wisconsin Badgers out to the woodshed. Different scenario here, though, today. You've got the Hokie Nation. I mean, this is the biggest game they have had in Blacksburg since I don't know when. I'm still not convinced Virginia Tech has the offense to get the job done. But I think their defense is for real. And I think that those absences that I pointed out, the 4 significant playmakers that are going to be out for the offense for Ohio State plus Bosa on defense, even though the Buckeyes still have a veteran group, I think that has to be taken into effect today, or consideration today. I'm getting 2 touchdowns. If I had to bet it, I'd go with Virginia Tech. I'm fascinated to watch the game. I think it's going to be a neat game to watch. And I think we'll find out a lot about both of these teams, obviously, from this particular contest. I mean, I still believe Ohio State is the team to beat this year. They're going to have some challenges, but not much challenge from anybody else other than Michigan State in the Big Ten. But again, if I had to, I would take Virginia Tech plus the points in this one. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.